Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. If you are watching, make sure you comment. Let me redo the comments here. Sometimes they get a little cry. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Lori. Mike's not on. Mike is on, babe. It is on. I'm showing. It's on. It's on. It's on. Ba-dum-bum. Good morning, Lori. Hey, Janice, how are you? So everybody, welcome, welcome. I am sharing this one more place. Hold on. So tell me what you're happy about today. Come on. Come on, come on. Let me know. What are you happy about today? Somebody's got to have a praise report, right? I'm still here. I'm pretty happy about that. Let me just say, I am pretty happy about that. Let me see what Mr. Bibb is talking about here. God has given me another day. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? I am looking here. Hold on. Just trying to keep this. Dun-dum-bum. Trying to make sure that nothing has switched. My husband's trying to keep me in a good place with the sound here. But I think we are good. It's a new camera, so things are a little bit testy here, but we're okay. So, okay, let's move on. So look, if you're new to this is in a bunch of different groups. It's in my Onward group. It's in my Team Onward group. It's on my Onward with Molly page, my VIP group for my customers. So I am here to tell you that there's always something you can get from what I have to say, for sure. And let me cut this down here. Hold on. I should not be listening to myself. That weirds me out. Are you somebody that when you hear your voice, like if you're listening to a recording or a videotape, something like that, and you're like, that's what I sound like? Yeah, that's what we sound like. So, what I would say to you, blessed to see and listen to you. Janice. Hello, Betty. How are you? New job? New apartment? Two kids starting college? Wow, girl. Uh-oh, I just moved things. You got a lot going on. You got a lot going on, for sure, but that's okay. That is okay. Scola! My girl Scola's on here. Can I tell you, let me tell you about Lisa Scola. I got to hug her for the first time in like 4 years, probably, if I'm correct with this, at Avon Convention. And can I tell you that I don't think we unattached for like 4 whole minutes. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a long time, right? It doesn't sound like a long time. But I'm telling you, people at the restaurant, I think, were starting to stare because we did not care. We just held on for dear life. For sure, we held on for dear life. But it was so good seeing her and Eric. It had been so long. And you forget what the hugs feel like. You forget what the laughter feels like with people who are your people in your life. I have a blister. I don't even know. Oh, I did yard work yesterday. That's why I have a blister. Okay, that was a squirrel moment. I love you, Lisa. And no, we're not waiting 4 more years, for sure. Let's see here. Quentin. Life update. Father-in-law had a heart attack last week, but praise God, he made it through a 6 bypass heart surgery, and he's going home today. That's all God, my friend. You know that. I ain't got to tell you, Quentin. You know it is. Obviously, God ain't done with him yet, right? That is for sure. Good morning, Miss Diane. Oh, my goodness. Life is good, right? And I have to tell you, yep, Diane said I have pictures of those hugs. I know, girl. I'm telling you. And if you haven't been hugged by Scola, you ain't been hugged, okay? You ain't been hugged. It is the truth. When I look, Lisa and I have so many memories in life. You know, Avon brought us together, but things like our Puerto Rico trip, I'll never forget that. Life was not good for me, and we had both earned a trip to Puerto Rico through Avon, and I was not going to go. I was not going to go, and I just didn't think I could. My brother was fighting cancer, this and that, and they talked me into going, so we called corporate and said, we know the deadline's here, but, you know, do you think that we could make this happen? And they did. And Scola said she would go with me on that, right? She says, I will go. If you go, I will go, and I will room with you. So they worked all that out, and Eric came down, and he stayed with Lee. And that was great because they got to hang out and do their thing. There's so many memories there that would make you laugh. We don't got enough time. But when we went to Puerto Rico, like Scola, like I'm so used to being the person who does the mothering. Does that make sense? And Scola just took that completely out of my hand, and she says, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. And she did. Every morning she got up, and before me, she's a much earlier riser than I am, but she's so quiet you don't even know. And she had coffee ready for me like every single morning. It was like amazing. She just really took care of me. It was some of the best memories, but it goes to show that my husband and my friends got together and they knew what I needed. And isn't that great when you got people in your life who know you so well that they know what you need, right? And they make sure that it happens. And that was, even though it was for a few days, it was just, I know, Lisa, they warmed the creamer. I had never had that before, okay? I had never, and she was like, they bought the creamer up and it's warm. And I'm like, what? Like they warm it on the stove or something? What did they do? They warmed the creamer. It's not the biggest trip we've been on, but it's one of those trips that the memories, because of where my life was at the time, it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. And they made me see it's what I needed, and they knew who to send me with to make sure that I would be taken care of, and that is what happened. So yes, best trip, Lisa, it was. And we've had so many more. I can think of the Dominican, I can think of Hawaii, I can think of so many places that we all earned. We worked so hard and we earned these trips with Avon. But I have to tell you, I would love to tell you it was just the places and the trips, but it's the people. It's the people. I will eternally be blessed for the people that Avon has brought into my life. Just so many. The friendships, the tribe atmosphere, just, it's so great. It's so great. So okay, so let's jump into this. I thought this was crazy, hit me between the eyes. You all know that when I come on for these Molly Moments with Jesus, this is about stuff in life, how to maybe find your way back to him, how to make you stronger in all those ways. Wow, man, this camera is just, guys, you're going to have to bear with me the next few times I do this because this camera's a little weird, but it's okay. I believe that when I suffered my cancer scare, and it wasn't just a scare, it was really cancer, that life and situations kind of reminded me that in all of it, whether we want to admit it or not, God is in it, no matter how it turns out. He knows, and sometimes he uses those things to make you stronger. And he wouldn't leave me alone about sharing things that I have learned or that I still learn every single day. You know, life is not easy for a lot of people. I know it's not easy for me. Let me speak truth. There are always things going on. If there's not things going on with your kids, if there's not things going on with your marriage, if there's not things going on with your finances, things going on in your business, there is always things going on, and you're like, how am I going to get through this? I hear you. You're not alone. For me, what I feel now finally is that I'm not alone. That even when I feel like my people don't understand, or maybe even my husband doesn't get it, or nobody quite gets what the feeling is that I'm feeling. Maybe it's anxiety. You all saw me share, I think it was last week, that I had this crazy massive anxiety day for no apparent reason, just came out of the blue. I swear it's a devil. I swear it is. And it almost stopped me in my tracks. I don't know if you've ever been there before, but man, did it stop me in my tracks. I mean, horribly, like, heart was racing, and I'm immediately looking at my Fitbit going, what's going on? Is it, am I having a heart attack? I just hadn't felt that way in a really, really long time. And it was a whole lot easier for me to get back on track later on in the day. But for a moment, I hated myself. I hated my reaction. I hated that I was letting it win. I hated that it took me away from things that I knew I needed to be doing. And I hated that my mind did that thing that we worry about. Is it this? Is it that? What's going on? The truth of the matter is, 90% of what we worry about, it never happens, y'all. It never happens. It just doesn't. And then we spend all that time worrying, all that time having to color our hair again, all that time having to use our skincare double duty because we sat and we worried about so much. That is where I was. And then I realized, one, I had to show myself some grace. I did come back from it, just not as quickly as I would have liked to. I did realize it was anxiety, and the truth of the matter is, I didn't need to know why it happened. I just needed to know how I was going to get through it. And the truth of the matter is, I grabbed my Bible, I did a whole lot of praying, I grabbed my devotional, and I just said, I know God's got me no matter what. But isn't it crazy how something like anxiety can make you feel like you're just dying? I've only had one panic attack in my life, and that was a couple of days after my brother Mike died. I didn't even know what it was. And that was absolutely the worst feeling ever. You talk about something just stopping you in your tracks and dropping you to your knees, and you just feeling like everything in life is about to end. I remember shouting in the car, and I was by myself, saying, really, God? And that's exactly what I said. Really, God, is this how you're going to take me out? I get through some of the worst things that have happened, and this is how it's going to happen. I'm going to go out like this. I didn't know then that it was a panic attack, but what I can tell you is that panic attack absolutely stopped me in my tracks for a while. It almost stopped me from driving because that's where it happened. I was on the road driving. It almost stopped me every time it rained. And can I tell you that I knew I had to beat it. I knew I had to work. I mean, Lee was legally blind. It's not like he was going to drive. I was Ubering at the time. I was, of course, Avon, delivering orders and brochures and, meetings and sign-ups and all of that. And I was so scared that it was going to win. And I don't think I realized it then, but I'm pretty sure that God had me then. I'm pretty sure that he was walking right beside me, even though I hadn't really invited him to. Um, in saying all of that, I realized that when I was reading one of the devotions this week, this one, of course, is called "The Root of My Rot," which I thought was just crazy. That a lot of times our reactions, a lot of times how we deal with things, a lot of times how we deal with people, how we maybe we are 110% over the top on something that most people would be like, why are you so crazy about that right now? I don't understand. Why are you so crazy about that right now? Truth of the matter is, um, that is absolutely the truth. It is absolutely what happens when there is something deeper that is making you react. Reactions are not good. Sometimes you need to take a minute. And that taught me, it took a while for me to learn that in life. Um, Sometimes it's from things that have happened in the past. And sometimes everybody around you pays for it. And matter of fact, a lot of them are looking at you or looking away thinking, I don't even understand why she's this upset about that. I don't even understand why that's her reaction. I don't understand why she's thinking about that. I don't understand why she's holding on to that. I don't understand. You don't understand because what you don't realize is there is a root that took place somewhere in your life, in that ground of your life. And what happens is the root wasn't bad, but how we handled the root, how we treated the root, how we treat anything. Plant, you can overwater a plant, think about it. You cannot water it at all. Then it needs CPR, those kind of things. But this is the other thing too. When our reactions and everything are crazy, when we are not addressing what the problem was to begin with, then you can get root rot. Morning, Leslie. You can get root rot. Root rot, I can remember I would hate it when I would lose a plant because of that. Things would get in and fester. Maybe they had little bug mites, plant mites, whatever it is. Sometimes it was me, something that I did, but sometimes it was massive festering about things. Letting the past come in and affect everything in your present. Letting people come in who technically you figure out were never really your people. But instead of just leaving that where it goes, you bring it into your everyday life and you fester on it every single day, creating root rot in your life. The verse today, it comes from Psalms 139:24. It says, point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life. Point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life. That's a lot of words. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look here at exactly what, and again, everybody wants to know where this is coming from. Normally, this is Embraced by Liza Turkhurst. She is wonderful. I am about to order her next book that's good. Leslie, 100%. Disrupting Peace, Hate, Pit in the Stomach. Yep, I hear you. Recently, a friend of mine hurt my feelings, and I got all bent out of shape. And honey, everyone in my house knew Mama wasn't happy. I tried everything to usher gentleness back into my tone and my temper. Have you ever done that? Has somebody pissed you off? Royally, pissed you off. And you come home and you are feeling what they did, and you are trying so hard to put it on the back burner, and you bring it into the people who haven't done a thing to you. Think about that. Haven't done a thing to you. She says, I quoted verses. I rebuked Satan. I bossed my feelings around with truth. I even tried to take a nap. But none of these activities soothed me. What really sent me over the edge, though, was a smell that started to fill my home that not even 3 strongly scented candles could mask. Unfortunately, as the mysterious, awful smell continued to waft through my house, I couldn't for the life of me figure out what it was or where it was coming from. Finally, I realized my daughter had placed a trash can in the middle of my bedroom floor so she could toss scraps of paper as she worked on a school project. Some food had obviously been thrown away in that forgotten trash can that had surpassed gross and moved into the final stages of rot. I didn't have the heart to find out what the rot was. I just knew the trash had to go immediately. The smell was an outside indication of an internal situation. Think about that huge, huge statement there. The smell was an outside indication of an internal situation. The smell was everywhere in the house, but the internal situation was inside the trash can. And the trash can wasn't the only thing that stunk that night. So did my attitude. My reaction was also an outside indication of an internal situation. See, my reaction was also an outside indication of an internal situation. The reason I couldn't be soothed by quoting scripture, bossing my feelings, rebuking Satan, or even taking a nap is because God wanted me to be aware of my stench. Something inside of me that stunk. A place starting to rot. I'd been hurt by a friend and didn't want to confront the issue or forgive the person who had hurt me. Think about that. Have you ever been there? Think. Let's read it again. I've been hurt by a friend and didn't want to confront the issue or forgive the person who had hurt me. Can I just tell you, hi Kim, hi Tiff, hi Donna, I want you to, look, even if it's family, look, my family is the worst at this. They have an issue with somebody and they never bring the issue up. They'd rather sit there and fester and rot. And when they see you, act like there ain't no problem at all. They simply love you. They love you long time. They love you all the time. They do. But there's an issue. Or maybe you've done the same thing. I've done it. I'm guilty. I have done it and thought, what am I doing? There is an issue. I've been hurt by somebody, but I didn't want to confront it or forgive the person who had hurt me. I'd stuffed bitterness in my heart and tried to pretend it wasn't there. But the rot was there, and the stink from deep within my heart kept spilling out. God didn't want me to temporarily mask the situation by feeling better in the moment. He wanted me to address the root of my rot, to see it, admit it, expose it, let him clean it up, and shut it down immediately. Psalm 139:24 reminds us of King David's plea to the Lord. Point out anything to me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life. We must have the same attitude when it comes to our own lives. A little rot can spread fast and furiously if not dealt with swiftly and seriously. That's why it's so crucial to pay attention to our reactions today. How we react is a crucial gauge of what's really going on inside of us. When people or issues or situations bump into our happy, it's not wrong to feel annoyed. But if that annoyance leads to a reaction out of proportion to the issue at hand, we can bank on the fact that this eruption has a root of rot. Here are some telltale signs of roots of rot. I throw out statements like, hey Victoria, how are you? I throw out statements like, you always, you never, why can't we ever? Oh, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I read that, I immediately saw all these arrows pointing at me. I'm like, you always, you never. Why can't we ever? I'm thinking, yeah, that probably is evidence of something that is much deeper that I haven't dealt with before. I start gathering ammunition from past situations to build my case. Okay, y'all know, not letting go. Come on. You know, again, how many times have I said, Elsa had it right, let it go. But we don't. Have you ever done this? Look, I've done it to Lee. Lee's done it to me. Family members have done it to me. Friends have done it to me. How about this happened and this is going on? This is what's happening right now. But in the midst of the discussion, right, you go, oh yeah, just like a month ago when you did X, Y, and Z. Whoo, dog, I know. Don't let me be alone here. I know many of you probably have done the same thing. That, or maybe you've just had it done to you. Where, hey, I thought we had that thing that happened 6 months ago. I thought we were good on that. I thought there was forgiveness on that. I thought we had moved on that. But in reality, you're still holding on to it because here we are in a whole different argument and you will bring up something that's in the past. I mean, is the problem really the person you're having the disagreement with? Or is some of this issue what you're still holding on to? I think sometimes, even though that person may be wrong, we have to pay attention to the telltale signs of how are we reacting to this? What are we really holding on to? Because if you're not holding on to it, why did it come back up when we all thought it was resolved? Man, I use words in a tone outside my normal character. You know, when you get mad and all of a sudden your voice get like this and you want to be mad, or maybe you start bobbing the head, you know what I'm saying? Like you want everybody to know what you have a problem with. Hi Donna. Think about that. If your words or your tone or oh yeah, okay, I get it, right, you know, you're almost sarcastic because here we go again, and you're like, I ain't having none of this. Sometimes those things are absolutely fine because the situation could call for it. I get it. It does sometimes. But when you feel like, if you're honest and you're looking in that mirror at yourself, sometimes, do you have PTSD as far as where things are? Look, I can say that with our company too. For many people who are in Avon, and I have been guilty of this too, that when something happens within the company because we have had many owners, because we've been around for such a long time, and when the decision is made to do something or not do something, normally what happens is we're like, oh yeah, well here we go again. Of course Avon's going to do this. Of course my company, it doesn't have to be Avon, of course they're doing this. We should have known this because remember when, ooh boy. I'm going to tell you, especially in business, that is the worst thing in the world that you can do. If you want to know what is going to hold you back in life and business, and you know me, I believe that they're both bonded together, it's the fact that you're always looking to out that person. You're always looking for the company to do something wrong. You're always looking for the next time somebody puts a knife in your back. When you're always looking for the next person who's going to talk about you, who is going to maybe share an mistruth about you, an untruth about you, somebody who just wants to see you fall on your face, and you react because I get it. It hurts. I get it. There's fear. I get it. There's a little PTSD. But the truth of the matter is, the more important thing is to get you better in that moment. The more important thing is to have your reactions be different. And I personally don't think that works without some Jesus in your life. Because when I catch myself doing these things, and guys, I'm not coming at you. Again, when I'm talking about something here or in business or in life, it's because my struggle has been truly just crazy in the same area. I need you to know that. I think we all have a little bit of this, but for me, I want to be better. I don't want to hold my family and my friends and my team members or my tribe. I don't want to hold them responsible for every bad thing that they have ever done, or my company. Let's be real. Why am I going to keep bringing up the past? You will never fully move towards a better future. Forgiveness, you've heard this, and I get it's very cliche, right? Forgiveness is not for the person who wrongs you. Forgiveness is for you. When you really dig deep into what that means, I'm here to tell you it's more than just a little cliche. Forgiving somebody, what does that release them? Maybe. I don't know. But what I know is when true forgiveness, when you've really let go of something that may have nothing to do with this past indiscretion, right? When it has nothing to do with that, if you have not truly forgiven somebody and you have not let it go, you have not let it just wash out to sea, I'm here to tell you it's going to influence what you do for the rest of your life. Hey, Lisa, good to have you. Hi, Marion. It absolutely will affect how you respond. It will. It will. You all know about my life without my mom because she died, right? But sometimes what was even more painful was the fact that my dad was still alive, but I felt like I didn't have him either. I blamed me. I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't thin enough. I wasn't important enough. Maybe I wasn't talented enough. Maybe I wasn't exactly what he wanted me to be. Maybe I reminded him of my mom. I don't know. But what I know is I went from being very sad to being very angry because I needed my daddy. But I realized after a while that what I felt I needed, I wasn't going to have. Maybe he wasn't capable of giving it to me. I don't know. I asked him one time, I sat him down and tried to have a conversation. And when I walked away from the conversation, to be quite honest, what I came away with was, he just honestly didn't get it. All he knew how to be was him. And most of the time, him was more important than me or anybody else in my family. My dad could be the funniest guy out there, not because his jokes were so funny, but because my dad would think his own jokes were funny. So before my daddy even got to the punchline, he was already laughing at the joke he was going to tell, right? I'm 60 years old now. And I lost my daddy when I was in my 50s. Now, he lived a long life for sure. But it took me until almost my 40s to realize that I was never going to get anything more from my dad than what I had already gotten. But when I was deciding to stay angry about it and blame myself and try to twist myself up about things, I wasn't letting go of it. It was hurting my progress going forward, y'all. It was. It was. I felt the same thing in my first marriage. I mean, somebody who just wasn't really willing or maybe able, I don't know, to really show me love or show me importance in his life. So then when it happened twice, I realized this has got to be me. It's definitely got to be me. First with my dad, and then with somebody that I spent 17 years just trying to make happy, just wanting him to love me and make me feel like I was a priority. I realized again after that marriage was over that I was setting him up because I chose somebody just like my dad. I chose somebody who had other priorities in his life, and he just really didn't see it any other way. I had to let both of them off the hook. And I had to decide that I had to be worthy to myself first, that I had to find something about myself to love. That I had to figure out that maybe those two people, even though I have his DNA, even though I gave my heart to him, that just maybe they weren't my people, not my people to really get me through and make sure that I could grow through this. That meant I had to forgive. That meant I had to leave that in the past, that I had to be able to talk about it without anger. I'm not going to tell you I'm to the point to where I can talk about it without sadness, because the truth of the matter is I do wish that it had been different. But what I do know is that God showed me very quickly that he made me who I am today. That when I need changes in my life, believe me, he speaks to me every single day when there's something I need to do better. And there are probably 100 times a day where I say to myself, God, because I feel the conviction, I feel what I said was wrong, I feel my reaction wasn't good, I feel that something came from my past, I feel that I feel attacked, and I have to say, God, I can't control what they just did, but I can control my action, and I didn't do well then. Forgive me, I'm sorry. And then a lot of times I have to go to the person who absolutely had just wronged me, who absolutely had just said something that I probably did not deserve. And I had to say, I apologize for my reaction to you, the way I came across. I should have said that differently. Because I know that sometimes the past can creep in. And when you start feeling those feelings of unworthy, I'm somebody who I want to tell you that I don't care if somebody doesn't like me. I'm not that person. I get over it. I'm better, right? But I struggle because I feel like I'm always trying to be better and trying to treat people how I would want to be treated. And yet, at convention, I have thousands of people who want to come up and talk to me. I have thousands of people who want to hug my neck. I have thousands of people who love my honey bun cake. I have thousands of people who just, want to say, hey, Molly, thank you, or we appreciate you, or thank you for being a part of this company. Thank you for giving back. But guys, I can have 3 people who all you have to do is see how they look your way or don't. Or somebody alerts you that they're talking smack in another group on Facebook about you. And I've had to learn that those three opinions, or five or 10, it doesn't matter what they think. That is their problem, and mainly their problem because they're not bringing it to me. Mainly their problem because it hasn't been important enough for them to bring it to me, but it's important enough for them to talk smack about me, right? In that moment, I have figured out that for whatever reason, those few people, there is something going on in their life that obviously brings them in this present moment to attack me. You know? Hey Jen, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. We'll see you tonight on the call. People are going to hate you because you make a different decision. People are going to hate you because you try to give them a different perspective. I have lived with that for 20 years in Avon. First, I was attacked by people who were even close to me for even wanting to share 20 years ago. 20 years ago, before 20 years ago, let's be this way, the Avon way was this, like it or not, and I'm sure it's this way with all companies. It's just Avon's the only company I've really been a part of. The Avon way was you only share with your team. Everything you do, you share with your team. You don't let your secrets out, whatever that may look like. You don't put anything out there that could possibly make or possibly encourage somebody else who is not on your team, who is not like making you money, whatever that looks. There in no way should you be sharing with them. Something about that just didn't sit well with me. And when I started taking things I learned and I started sharing, kind of like I'm doing now, life skills, business skills, Jesus skills, the whole 9 yards, when I started doing that, the attacks started coming. And from some people, I thought I would never get attacked by. But I felt like there was enough business out there for everyone, but not everyone had a mentor. Not everybody had a leader. And even some who did, maybe they were a leader that wasn't engaged. Maybe they were a leader who really didn't put their team first. Maybe, I don't know. But what I knew was I had some things in my life and my business that were working for me, and I wanted to share it. I wanted to share it. And it didn't matter what company you were with. It didn't matter where you were. Matter of fact, most of what I was sharing probably could have been used in life too. God has blessed me in so many ways for sticking to my guns and saying, Molly, your community and your tribe will show up, and those who need you are going to be part of that. And those who don't, Molly, you got to let them go. You got to quit trying to hook them in. You have got to quit trying to change their mindset, because the only person capable of changing your mindset is you. They have to change their own mindset. I didn't want to be a part of something that only could be benefited by people who were on my team. Because, by the way, at that point, my team wasn't really big, right? It was small. I had people all the time who said, I don't know what to do. And when Avon figured out I wanted to do that, they started sending me to the divisional meetings, and they would, I would fly here and fly there, and I would go and I would talk to just hundreds and hundreds and thousands of representatives, telling them my story and that they could do this, but it took time, and here are some helpful hints. And a lot of this is just attitude and consistency and persistence and a lot of love and a lot of people loving and just a lot of patience. Some of those people still don't like me very much, and that's okay. That's okay. Because as long as God continues to give me breath, I will be sharing life, business, Jesus, hard times, real times, failure times, Because if you followed me long enough, you know I'm just not about putting, the best pictures out there. By the way, can you even believe I put that picture up there yesterday about me? I went back and it came up in my feed this morning. I know I'm scrolling. It came up in my feed this morning. I swear, that picture after I came in walking for an hour and a half, I'm going to tell you right now, I looked like I was ready to collapse and fall over dead. My hair was like a whole, it was awful. No makeup. My face was red. I looked like a tomato. And here I am trying to give you all some real advice about something. I was like, boy, it don't get no realer than that. You're going to be posting stuff like that about yourself. Wow. That is who I realized that in the moment that it hits me, and the moment that I feel like it's something that somebody needs, that's when it hits me. Lucky for me, a lot of times it's when I have clothes on and my hair's done and I have a little bit of makeup on, so that's good for y'all, okay? Just saying. Don't let the root rot of something that's happened to your past, of people who have walked away because you've made a bad decision, of people who've walked away because you've made a good decision that's good for you. Your people are going to show up no matter what you choose. They are. Your people are going to are going to show themselves in life and business. Your people are going to be there when you ask them to be there. Now, look, I tell my team all the time, I am not a mind reader. And when you have 600 people on your team, I want to be there for every single one of them. Here's the truth. Some of the people on my team, they don't want to hear from me at all. I mean, they read the emails, they just want the information, and that's it. You know what I had to figure out? I can be okay with that. Those are people who are just self-starters, and they know what they want and they know what they're doing. They're not even looking for the personal relationship with me. That's okay. Then I've got people who righteously have turned into really great friends from this. A lot of people not on my team, but a lot of them who are on my team. They're like my kids, Mama Molly. And it's my job to be there to show them that it's going to be okay, even when the fog is so thick that they can't possibly see the way in front of them. The losses of life, the losses in relationships, the loss of a job, the loss of a child, sicknesses, cancers, people who have been mistreated, accidents, people who are using people. There's so much we talk about, but I'm here to tell you, if you're still here, if you're still breathing this morning, your journey can be used to help somebody else. Don't rot in the badness. Don't rot in hoping that something bad happens to the people who have wronged you. Love those people regardless. You can just love them from over there. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Holding on to what somebody has done, what somebody has said, all of that, all it does is hold you back. Remember the verse. Point out anything in me that offends you, Lord, and lead me along the path of everlasting life. And sometimes that means you've got to leave the past in the past. I know people go, I forgive you, forgiven but not forgotten. I get it. We remember it, right? But when you keep bringing it back up, is that really forgiveness? When you make the next person who comes into your life pay for what that person did after, is that really forgiveness? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I believe that when you can use the experience to make you better. My dad, I'm sure he's in heaven now after my mom kicked his tail a little bit for not being the daddy he probably should have been. I'm sure that if my dad were here now, he would tell me that he never wanted me to feel unloved. I think my daddy honestly just didn't know how to love, not in the way that I needed. I don't think my first husband, now, I don't think that's what he wanted, was for me to feel unloved. But you know what happens? You figure out very quickly where your worth is when you're only looking at yourself. When you're trying to figure out and you're trying to find things that make you feel, where, God, do you want me? Where do you want me in this life, Lord? Who do you want me to help? Who do you want to love me? Who are you going to put in my path, God? How are you going to teach me to be the best person that my kids can look at and say, my mama made a lot of mistakes. My mama didn't always get it right. But you know what my mama never did? She never quit. She never quit. She never quit on us. She never quit on her company. She never quit on her team. Now, her team may have walked away. People may walk away. That's going to happen, but I don't hold it against them. If it's not for you in this moment, please, I don't want you to stay if it's not for you. But I don't want you to leave because you think something should have happened in said amount of time and you righteously have just not given it what it takes in order for it to become something solid and lucrative and can change your life and give you new friendships and new customers and ways to pay your electric bill. That's different. But yet if you still do, I can't stop it, right? But I can always be here in case you come back. I can always be here to love you in the midst of it. I am never going to be the person who tells you where you got it all wrong and I knew you'd be back. That totally sucks when people do that. It reminds me of the prodigal son and his dad. I think it should have been called the daddy who loved no matter what. Because when that prodigal son came home, he didn't sit there and remind him that dad didn't of everything he had done wrong. What he did is he opened his arms and he loved him. And he said, welcome home, let's have a party. Welcome home, let's get back on track. Welcome home, what's done is done. If we could live our lives like that, y'all, we're so worried that somebody's going to be the next person who craps all over us, right? We're so worried we're going to stop the next person. You know what? There's no such thing as finding love without giving love a chance again, without opening up your heart again. There's no such thing as finding the company that you want without opening yourselves up completely to say, could it be the right fit this time? There's no way to build a friendship if you're still holding on to how the last person hurt you. You have got to figure out that you want to move on. And the Bible has all kinds of verses telling us about that. It does. But you have to make the choice. I can't make the choice for you. I'm also the person who suffers these same things with you at times. I've just lived more life than most of you now. And now I am the person who says, I'm going to do better. My people, my sons, my husband, my people, when somebody hurts me, it doesn't matter who it is, family, friends, leader, somebody I thought was a friend, they want to fight. They want to fight the battle. And I tell them all the time, I don't know what happened. They haven't come to me. But if I've done something, obviously I would apologize. But I have to leave that over there. I can't stay upset about it. I can't worry about it. And sometimes it takes me a minute to get there. Maybe they do want me just to leave them alone. And I will. And I will. Because I am going to figure out how to love people through the hard times if it kills me. And it just might. It just might kill me. And if Jesus wants to take me out that way, that's okay, because I know where I'm going, right? But I am not going to hold on to things that are going to stop my growth, that are going to stop me from being the person that God has placed in your life. Because if you're listening to any section of this replay, live, YouTube, no matter what else, this is not a mistake. This is not a oopsie. This is not, no. You are here because you were meant to be here at this moment listening to this. And sometimes what happens is you hear something that you don't want to hear and you click off. Ah, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I might not. But what if I'm right? Just what if what I'm saying is the truth and could help you live a better, more complete, less threatening, always looking for people to do you wrong life? Golly days, y'all. That's no way to live. We don't have enough time here on this earth to always be looking for the bad. God knows how messed up this earth is. Believe me, He knows exactly what the human race has made this place. He gets it. He gets the hate. He gets all of that, right? He knows. But I believe there's still enough love left in us to change this world. And that's what I plan on doing, one person at a time, one heart at a time, one hug at a time, and one company at a time, because I can't imagine doing two. That's just me. So, find out who your people are, but let them show up. Don't go digging for them. Don't go digging. People will show up. In the meantime, concentrate on you. Be that person that God made you to be. You keep saying, I want to be better. Well, if you want to be better, do better. If you want to be better, dig deep in that Bible. You want to figure out how to honestly just forgive. Go take a look in the Gospels about what Jesus did with everything that we did to Him and all the sins that we do now and the people who beat Him, and He got up on that cross anyways. You want to know how to love no matter what and forget about the past? Read you about some Jesus. I'm going to tell you right now, there is no greater love. And I'm grateful for that. You know why? Because I have failed time and time again. And hey, newsflash, I'm going to continue to fail. But you know what's great? He continues to forgive. And I am forever grateful for that. So, root rot. Don't let the rot set in, okay? It will destroy you. It will destroy your plants. And if this has helped you, share it. Share it. Tag somebody. Tell me how it's helped you. I would love to know. I would love to know if you're feeling what I'm feeling, because sometimes truth is you just feel alone. Nobody likes to feel alone, right? Good. All right. That's it. That's all I have for this morning. There will be, for all of Avon, I will post the link here on my main page too. We have 2 more meetings tonight and in 2 weeks another one, where I have opened up my team group and my Zooms, I should say, not my group, my Zooms, to all of Avon, anybody who would like to sit in, anybody who would like to hear what we're doing. Something new I started this summer to help my team, but also to help other reps. So we have tonight, and then we have yep, Rebecca, you're right, never alone. And then we have in 2 weeks, that will be it, and then my team Zooms will go back to just my team. But it looks like this has been paying off for a lot of people, so we may do this again, and we may do it like once a month. And I'll get back to my lives, of course, just and onward. So, love you guys. I'm going to go drink my coffee. Have a great day. Get rid of the root rot. Talk to you soon. Bye.